This is an instructional video on how to adjust and calibrate a 4 load cell scale, specifically for our RLS 15K or our Cattleman version livestock scale. You're going to be looking for this. This is a summing card, and it will be located inside of a box like this. Similar to this, most of our scales have this kind of box on the side. And so just remove the 4 screws. Inside will be that, and this will be located on the side of the scale attached to the I-beam. So first you need to understand how to read how the scale's laid out. You'll see every circuit board, they've got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. So the load cells from these corners will be wired into the corresponding number. But on the scale, when you're adjusting and moving your weights around, you need to know that this is number 1, this is number 2, 3, and 4. And that's based on where the junction box is. So farthest to your left is going to be number 1, and then you count clockwise from there. When you're adjusting the scale, you're going to be moving these. They're called potentiometers, and from the factory, they're turned all the way up. So you need to take your highest weighted cell. So say you got 2,000 pounds, but your lowest cell is at, say, 1950 or so. So say number 1 right here. We'll say number 1 is your heavy cell, number 4 is your light cell. So since they're turned all the way up from the factory, you cannot turn them. Turning them clockwise is basically increasing the weight. And if you hear that click, that means you're out. You're out of potentiometer either way, but from the factory, they're all turned up. So you want to bring number 1 down to the same weight as number 4. And if you're off a ways, you're probably going to want to overshoot that number a little bit. So you'll take number 1 and turn it counterclockwise. And the tricky part is when they're all the way up or all the way down, your weight doesn't move as much. It's really nice to have somebody who can be reading the weights out to you as it changes. When you get towards the center of the potentiometer, it's going to move a lot faster. So if you're doing it blindly without help, just kind of be careful. You're going to have to get up and down and check it a lot. But it's always nice to have another person there as a pair of eyes for you. So basically, say you're 2,000 here, you're 1950 here, just keep turning it down. I'd probably turn it to 1940, overshoot it by 10, and then put your weight. So you're adjusting number 1 down to match number 4. After you've done that, move your weights around and see which one is the highest one. Put it on that. So say number 2 is now at 1980 or something. You're going to bring it down to, the closer you are to the weight you're going for, or matching the weights, I should say, you're not going to have to overshoot it as much. But if you're out, say 50 pounds, you're probably going to want to overshoot it by 10, bring it down to 1940 and so on. But basically, you're just going to keep doing that and moving your weights around the 4 corners and adjusting your circuit board, your summing card, each time. And once the weights are all the same, then you recalibrate. You don't have to get the weights to be whatever your weight is. So if you're using a 2,000 pound weight, you don't need the weight that you're adjusting it to be 2,000. You just want them all to be the same. So when you're done and you get them all the same, then you use the weight and recalibrate it and enter the correct weight. Okay, so this is a R320. This may or may not be the indicator that you have, but any Rinstrom Model R with a 300 something should calibrate the same way. So this is just a unit. It's not hooked up to anything. Power the unit on. This is simply to show how to calibrate it. So it's just a cold unit. I don't have it hooked up to anything. I use it when I'm working on scales, so it's not pretty. So In order to get into the calibration mode without having an optic link cable, you are going to hold down the power button and the function button. Just hold them until it gets into this, then let go. I will make a different video on how to go through all the functions, but usually you're going to come up, it's going to say build. You see the little arrow there. You're going to cycle down twice to get to calibrate. You're going to hit function as your enter. This is saying 0. This is what you're going to do. You're going to 0 the scale, so have nothing on the scale when you do this. And it's probably going to give me some errors. So this is showing whatever weight that it thinks is on the scale. Then you hit that Z in P. That means 0 in progress. You wait. Then you're going to hit the tare button or the back button twice till it goes to span. You're going to hit the select button once, and then you're going to hit the function button, and that's going to show you the weight, basically, if you were to put weight on it now, but it's not calibrated yet. So you hit the function button again, you go through here, cycle, put whatever number on it that you want, whatever the weight is that you're putting on it, and then from here you want the weight on the scale, and you want to have the correct weight of whatever it is you're calibrating it with on here. Hit the function button. S in P means span in progress. It's going to give me an error because I'm not hooked up to a scale, but from here it should come out, and I believe it's going to show you the weight that you put on there. And so from there, once this stops doing this to me, okay, yeah, then it will go to the weight. Mine is wrong, again, because I don't have it hooked up to a scale. I'm just trying to get you through the process. But from there, after you've done that, then you're going to hold the power and the function button again. Just keep holding it down until it says saving. And then it should back out, and it will show you the weight on the scale, which for me is nothing. And then to turn the power or turn the unit off, you hold the power button for 3 seconds basically till it turns off, and you're good to go.